Welcome, everybody, to episode 185 of the Healthy Habit Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Dayan of Healthy Habit Medical Center, located right inside Healthy Habit Health Foods. And if you're not subscribed yet, head over to our YouTube channel. Just type in Healthy Habit Podcast and hit subscribe. We're also on Spotify. You don't want to miss an episode, folks. About 2 per week come out, and you'll be hearing this as you're shopping right here in the store. And today on 185, it's our first time talking to this guest on the podcast, but she was definitely with us on the radio days back on 1100 KFNX. We're talking with Nikita Austen, folks, Senior Director, Global Training and Education at Better Being Company. Born in Europe and raised as an Olympic-trained gymnast and competitive bodybuilder, Nikita applied her discipline in the wellness space early on in her career. With her education in biochemistry and nutrition and 13 years of experience in the natural products industry, Nikita understands the market and combines science with fun, which you guys will see here in her training. Nikita, thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Oh, Dr. Dayon, thank you for having me. It's kind of cool. Like, this is the first podcast. We've
I
done
know, it's
lots of radio shows
overdue. We're overdue.
together. Yeah, this is definitely a fun thing. And again, speaking of the word fun, I do try to bring that in. There's so much science, that there's so much to learn, but if we can make it fun, if we can make it bite-sized, it definitely makes it easy for everyone to kind of remember and know what they're good for. So that way you're not taking this home and going, wait, why did I buy this? What
Right.
do I need this for? I don't even remember. So we'll make it
Trust
work.
me, we've been to a couple trainings by Nikita, and everybody always gives amazing feedback on how it's fun and it helps them remember what we're talking about when you keep
Okay,
the
you know
humor
what?
up.
I can,
What's that?
funny enough, because I'm in my office, I'm gonna have to show you guys something now. You've got me. Okay, this is my, granted it's broken, okay, but I will never forget this. See if you guys can
What is
see
that?
this.
Senior
This is
notable
my
class
award from
clown there.
high school.
That's wild.
Class clown. Okay, this is probably one of my favorite awards I've ever won in my life is class clown. I
That's
have a lot to live
hilarious.
up to, you
That was
guys, but it is
14,
real.
about 15 years ago. Still
Don't let it,
going
don't
strong.
forget your glory days. Don't forget your glory days,
Was that
you
here?
know.
Where'd you go to high school?
So I went to 3 high schools, believe it or
Okay.
not. So, okay, this is probably why I'm so outgoing.
Uh-huh.
5 elementary schools, two
Wow.
middle schools, 3 high schools, and about 3 different colleges. So,
It's
and
because you
not
kept
because I
getting
got,
kicked out. You kept.
I was
That's
just
not
gonna
why.
go there, and I swear it's not only because I was just gonna get kicked out. It was for different reasons. But one of them was Horizon in
Uh-huh.
Arizona, here in Scottsdale, and
Okay.
then there were other ones as well, and two of them in Tampa, Florida, and that's where I won that one. So if you think about it, okay, I went to that high school. That was my senior year for only 1 year, and I still won class clown. I mean, does that? Come on.
That's wild. You earned it.
Anyway, just had to give a little. Now that I'm looking at my office, I'm like, little shout out to my class clown award.
Incredible. So, in these 26 minutes, folks, we're going to cover all things
Yes.
magnesium. Okay, so Nikita represents, like we said, Senior Director of Global Training and Education for a company called Nutraceutical, or is it now Better Being Company, Nikita?
Yes. So it's actually same thing. Now we were used to be called Nutraceutical, and
Right.
we changed it to Better Being
Got
because we
it.
have a lot of brands that we own under the company. Solaray, Cal, Heritage Store. If you have that pink rose water spray in your bathroom, that's probably where you got it from. So it Better Being kind of encompasses all the brands that we own overall.
Amazing. And so one of the heavy hitters here in that family of supplements is magnesium. So we have different powders by both Solaray and Cal. There's also capsule versions. And I'll do a
Yep.
quick screen share here just to show everybody kind of the setup here that we have. With some of them were rebranded. So if you've been shopping at Healthy Habit now for years, you'll notice some of these have changed the look. So tell us, why is it so important? Why did Better Being choose to focus so hard on magnesium? It's so important, but tell us your view on it.
Yeah, magnesium amongst many things, but I think magnesium right now is really, really popular and for a lot of good reasons. One of the things is magnesium itself, okay? When you look at deficiencies,
Yeah,
over 70% of our country is deficient in magnesium. I would even feel confident to say more than that, okay? Because I haven't really met one person who I would feel confident enough that in their diet alone or just naturally are getting enough magnesium. And there's a
right.
lot of reasons why we are deficient. I think some of those would be the most basic one we talk about is our soil. Okay. Our soil is not as nutrient dense as it used to be. We know that. We know with all the genetically modified crops, we know with monocropping, we know just in general, our soil is not as abundant in minerals as it used to be. And
Right.
when you look at our Earth's crust, magnesium is actually the eighth most abundant element in our crust. So magnesium
Wow.
is one of the main things that we would get when you look at the soil and you look at our ground, and we're really not getting it. So first and foremost, okay, we know that. But the one that I really think connects with people, and if you guys are listening right now, okay, and don't worry, I'm going to contradict myself here, but if you drink coffee, tea, alcohol, or even soda, hopefully not all in one go, but if you drink any of these, something that they all have in common is they're all naturally diuretics. That's why you drink coffee,
Right.
and what happens next? Oh my gosh, I got to run to the bathroom, or
So
I'm
true.
drinking tea and I got to go to the bathroom all day. So I'm not saying that a diuretic is the end of the world, but what happens in this case is when you consume a diuretic, like coffee, for example, it goes through the kidneys, and the kidneys are what then excrete that extra urine, excess urine from the body. That's where you're excreting the water. But the problem here is that when it goes through the kidneys, it can actually bind to the magnesium in your kidneys. So it's going to grab that magnesium in your kidneys along with other minerals, and it's going to flush it out. So
Hmm.
when we drink coffee daily, tea, alcohol, or any of these things, we are excreting excess magnesium from our kidneys just by consuming those.
Wow.
Now, don't worry, I'm not going to tell you guys to stop drinking coffee because I know that this podcast will never have any listeners if I
Yeah.
say that.
They wouldn't want you
Well,
back
what
on.
they were like, get her out of here, you know? But the point is if you do drink these things, then you are probably somebody who should be consuming magnesium extra, like
Right.
supplementing to really kind of fill what you are losing just naturally through your diet. And I think that's the problem is not only are we not eating enough foods or eating foods that are abundant enough, we're also consuming foods that are depleting it from the body. Okay. So this is why I believe that a lot of people are deficient, not just the diet, not just the soil, but we're consuming these drinks daily that are depleting it. We really need to be supplementing, whether it's powder, capsule, liquid. We need to be getting it in daily to really, at minimum, replenish the loss.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's my like quick take on why we're deficient. Now, okay, cool, we're deficient. I get it, Nikita, but why magnesium? So magnesium is really important. It works on over 300 different enzymatic reactions in the body. That means
Right.
your body does 300 different things, sending signals, working on the muscles, working on your heart. It requires magnesium to function properly. So we need magnesium in our body. If we ever feel like we're getting extra tense, if we ever feel like our heart is running faster or these heart palpitations, cramping in the legs, if there's a lot of things that magnesium can be really beneficial for. And that's why you're seeing a lot more people come in for magnesium is because they're deficient. But the reasons are I'm hearing, hey, I don't sleep well. I feel really tense and stressed out. My muscles are sore. What can I take that's going to really help me with that? Magnesium is a go-to ingredient for that, no, without question.
Amazing. And for our YouTube viewers, you can see this little pyramid here of 7 different ones with 3 of the calming ones on top, different flavors, lemon, lime, cherry, blueberry. Then we have the mood, radiant, heart, and energy here in the bottom. So these are all different types of magnesium. And what I wanted to highlight here for our listeners is, and if you're following along on Spotify, I'm sharing here straight from calvitamins.com and solaray.com, specifically the
Hmm.
mag glycinate, because this is the one in the calming formulas, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's highlight how is this going to be different from, like, let's say taurate, magnesium citrate, and there's oxide. There's like 12 different types of magnesium, and then we'll differentiate Solaray and Cal a little bit. But yeah, tell us about mag
Yeah.
glycinate.
Magnesium glycinate in particular, of all the forms that we do have, is right now the most popular one, the highest selling one, and not just Solaray. I'm talking about as a category across our entire country. Reason is going back to what I said is that so many people are telling me I am not sleeping well.
Right.
I'm struggling to get to sleep. I'm feeling like I am overly stressed, overly tense a lot of the times. And that's where magnesium glycinate really comes into play. One of the first things is, or maybe even one more step back from that, what is it? Now we know magnesium, I kind of mentioned that, but it's bound, or another word that we call is it's called chelated.
Right.
And chelated in Latin means claw. So think of like just claw, like it's kind of connected together. So we take magnesium and we bind it to glycine. And glycine is this really calming amino acid. So it calms the heart, it calms the muscles, it calms the body. And what it also does really well is it helps lower your internal body temperature, which is really important when you're trying to
Interesting.
get to sleep. So when you go to sleep, you want your body to drop from 1 to 3 degrees at night to get into a more restful state.
Right.
Magnesium glycinate is going to help calm the body temperature or cool the body temperature, I should say, as well as calm the heart, calm the muscles, calm the mind. And in all the forms that we sell, it's one of the highest absorbing forms. So going back to deficiency, when the doctor tells you, hey, you've had your blood work, you need magnesium, this is the form I would recommend every time for absorption at minimum is going to be
Okay.
magglycinate. Layer on the sleep and the stress. This is your go-to product encompassing in general. So magnesium glycinate specifically works great. And you can see on the front of the package, relaxation, bones, muscles, overall.
And then, so typically what you find in a multivitamin, it's not going to be giving you 350 milligrams per serving, right? In a typical multi.
No, I know, and that's a great question because, you guys have to think of this when, you have a multivitamin, you take one, maybe two capsules or tablets in that serving. You have, 24 to 40 different types of nutrients in there. Typically in a multivitamin, you're going to get the form magnesium oxide or magnesium citrate. Those are
Right.
typically the two forms you would see. Not that they're necessarily bad forms, but they have a very specific function. Like if you're taking magnesium oxide, your function there, the reason you're taking it is to help with regularity and to support regular bowel movements. It's not there for absorption. So magnesium oxide's not going to absorb the magnesium that you think of when you're thinking of bones, heart, and muscles. It's there for constipation, it's there for regularity. Magnesium citrate is kind of one step up from that, where it still helps with bowel movements, but it's
Uh-huh.
more of a general well-being magnesium, and that's still a good thing to take. But again, magnesium glycinate is on a completely different layer or level when it comes to magnesium absorption in the body. So glycinate's great for that. Citrate's good for that. Again, if you're taking a multi, that's fantastic, but you really need to take a separate magnesium every single time, if whether it's taurine or taurate, I should say, L-threonate, but magglycinate is the best for absorption.
Completely agree. And like you said, glycine's an amino acid. And most
Yes.
Americans don't get enough of that specific amino acid. Like people that just eat chicken and turkey and fish and
Hmm.
salmon and like typical meats and proteins, they're very low in glycine. So we need like more collagenous types of proteins. And so, yeah, a lot of people are low in glycine, and that can help with reducing anxiety and mental health and regulating digestion and so much more. So I like that mag glycine combo. And then how is this
Yeah.
Cal version going to be different? Is it the same thing, just a different brand?
Yeah, so we do have so many options within Solaray and Cal,
Right.
meaning we have capsules in Solaray. We also have capsules in Cal, but Cal also has soft gels and tablets. So if
Okay.
you prefer those delivery formats, we have them. And then Cal has this incredible collection of powders, right, that we mentioned.
Right.
So if you're like, I don't want to take 4 capsules, no problem. You can easily take the powder. The calming ones are all magnesium glycinate. The mood one, which is my favorite one personally, is also magnesium glycinate with an additional 200 milligrams of L-theanine, which is what's the clinical dose in order to help with mood and relaxation as well. But the capsules, what the one thing the capsules do have that's a little bit different than, let's say, the rest of the delivery formats, both by Solaray and Cal, is the capsules do have an additional 5 milligrams of bioperin.
Hmm.
And bioperin is basically black pepper. And
Right.
piperine, which is the active in bioperin, is what's helping with additional absorption of magnesium in the body. So you will see that in the capsules, but the soft gels, tablets, and powders don't have it. We just have different options for people. We have looked at pharmacokinetic studies, meaning that some people worry, oh, is the black pepper going to be too much? And that's going to make, other things that I take absorb even more. No, at the 5 milligrams, 4.75 of which is piperine, that is a very minimal amount that it's going to create absorption or greater absorption for other things you're taking
Got
outside
it.
of this supplement. So, if in case you have any hesitations there, we've looked at the studies. You're good to go.
And I like here
Just
you
want to
included on
clarify.
the website, gentle on the stomach. That's important. Like it's not the typical form of mag that's going to cause the loose stools. Yeah, it can help with
Correct.
digestion, but compared to other ones like oxide, it shouldn't have that loose stool forming
Well,
effect.
that's what people worry about. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to take
Right,
magnesium. It makes me go to the bathroom. Sure. Which magnesium, though?
right.
Oxide, yes. But glycinate, it's really not going to have, if anything, not a harsh effect. Maybe supporting natural bowel movements, but really that's such a minimal, we don't really even go in that direction with that type of supplement.
Absolutely. Thanks for highlighting those,
So,
Nikita. So, and
yeah,
we do want to have Nikita on at least a couple more times here in 2025 where we can highlight even deeper the different powders. Like you said, you like the mood powder. There's the radiant one,
totally.
heart energy. I've given the heart powder to a lot of our cardiovascular patients here with blood pressure issues and history of heart attacks or strokes, different types of
Hmm.
cardiovascular situations. So, I want to definitely even go deeper. Maybe in the next one we have you on all things differentiating the magnesium powders. So,
That's that's
yeah,
a whole hour in its own, right? Where
right,
we could talk about
exactly.
each form.
Yeah,
So
we can have like a
let's do that as the next one. I think would be a great idea.
we can have like a three-part series on just magnesium.
Actually, we could do that too. The more
So
the merrier.
right, and I'm going to be pulling up here the last two products we want to discuss. Hopefully, we'll get to
Yeah.
SharpMind, but the Moro red orange extract. So magnesium can potentially pair well with this. We're not giving any medical advice, folks. We're just talking about Nikita's experience in the field, what she's seen
Hmm.
customers combine together. Because magnesium's good for metabolism as well. People don't really consider it for that, but it can definitely help with ATP production and a bunch of other things and weight loss support. So where does a product like Moro Red Orange, this is one of your new lines, I haven't seen this one yet. Tell us about Morosil and this product.
Yeah. No, and it's funny just to highlight again back to magnesium is people because we don't talk about it as often either, but it is really supportive for your blood sugar. It actually has a
Right,
lot of ties to supporting your blood
definitely.
sugar. It's just that we get so focused on the muscles and the other parts that we sometimes don't even highlight that because it does so many things. But Morosil, so we just launched this as a single SKU. However, if you've heard of it, or maybe you have seen it in Solaray, where we put it was in the Her Life Stages collection.
Okay,
So Solaray, we have a whole collection. I helped formulate it with Dr. Pamela Peake and Rachel Kilroy, and it's called the Solaray Her Life, okay, Stages. And basically, why you see that also in there is we put it in the menopause and the post-menopause formula.
okay,
Because where Morosil really comes in is the quick and dirty is weight loss support.
right.
Okay. And I have worked for Solaray for over 9 years. In that time that I've been here and worked for Whole Foods Market prior to that, I have rarely ever seen a supplement that had the words weight loss on the front of pack. Now, you may have seen that, sure, in what we call the FDM market, that food, drug, and mass market, but in a health food store, in a supplement realm, we've rarely ever seen anything say weight loss. Okay. However, with Morosil, which ultimately this ingredient, as you can see here, is this Moro red orange citrus. Okay, it's sourced from Sicily. Okay, that's the origin of where it is. And when you see this orange, origin orange, I was trying
Yeah.
to get to the word orange here, is it's a really, really dark colored, almost purple to black orange.
Wow.
It's super dense in anthocyanins, which we think of anthocyanins when we think of like tart cherry or pomegranate, right? These things with these really deep-rooted colors. Those anthocyanins are, like I said, almost like a violet red color, but they have a high amount, which really helps with oxidation. It really helps with a lot of support in the body. But again, going back to this Moro red orange is in clinical studies, this is all based on clinical studies at the 400 milligram as well. Okay. It has shown to reduce body weight. It has shown to reduce BMI or body mass index and improve the body's composition. So think about like your hip and waist composition, kind of,
Right.
how you store your weight overall. So body composition and reduction again in the waist and the hip circumference. Okay.
Wow.
The way that it can ultimately work is it can work on weight control by acting on the fat accumulation. Okay. And it can also indirectly, or has been indirectly used to reduce the risk of onset and chronically of cardiovascular related problems. But the thing here is it works on the fat that's built up in your body.
Yeah.
Okay. It really targets that. And it's supporting, again, through clinical studies, body weight, composition, hip and waist circumference. Okay, that's like the quick on this. Now, as far as how to recommend this or what you could pair this with, one thing I really like about this ingredient comparatively to, let's say, berberine,
Okay.
which berberine, I know we were thinking of talking about, but there's a lot of talk in general about berberine,
Right.
about weight loss, metformin, Ozempic, right? All these, this lately has been the biggest craze. Is let's say that I maybe struggle with blood sugar, meaning that I'm prone to low blood sugar, which I actually am. I can
Okay.
get really sensitive. If I don't eat every 2 hours, I already start to feel dizzy. There's a lot of people that might even be, let's say, overweight that can also struggle with that. You might not want to take berberine because it's going to lower your blood sugar significantly if you can't handle that. Morosil is going to work on more of that fat accumulation rather than just lowering blood sugar. So here's another great ingredient in replace of berberine to take. You could combine it with, but let's say in replace of, that's going to support overall weight loss support and not just kind of take down your blood sugar if that's something that you're overall sensitive
Right.
to. One of the things I do like to pair with this, though, is the Solaray microbiome weight formula.
Okay.
So we have a specific probiotic that has probiotic strains that are designed to help your weight. There's nothing in there that's like blood sugar as far as like a berberine or cinnamon. It's specifically probiotic strains, but it supports weight management. I like to take something like that along with the Morosil Blood Orange by Solaray. They're both going to target your weight, fat accumulation, different things like that, but working on totally different parts of the body. So it's a really nice blend to kind of take together to really support your weight management.
Folks, we're talking with Nikita Austen here, episode 185. First time having Nikita on the podcast here. And this was a great, at least a great start to show everybody Solaray, to show them Cal, and the different powders that are available with magnesium and the different types of magnesium glycinate. And like we said, we're going to try to get Nikita on again a couple times this year to go even deeper on some of these. Leave a comment below if you wanted to highlight this microbiome weight formula deeper in the next episode, which has the 18 strains, 50 billion colony forming units, CFUs. So yeah, I'm glad you even highlighted that because the microbiome is important for regulating our weight. Most people don't realize it for that. We need to take care of our gut health so we can have proper blood sugar support and metabolism. And again, this red orange formula, it is part of the blood
Mhm.
orange family, folks. So a lot of people have heard of the blood orange. So it's the most colorful of the blood orange family. And like you said, Nikita, it's high in anthocyanins, which has anti-cancer benefits and all kinds of good stuff there. So keep that in mind, folks. Hope you're taking notes. And we'll see if we can finish off here on the SharpMind nootropics energy formula. Let's highlight this, and then we'll kind of go into our conclusion or your final thoughts. Tell us about Sharp Mind Energy.
Okay, yes. And in fact, we could talk sharp mind energy because that's a good one. But the other one I wanted to highlight, which was even the newer one,
Okay.
was the sharp mind memory.
Oh, got it. Let me pull
Yes,
that up.
but
But
I
you can
mean,
start getting into it, and I'll
it's
pull it
it's
up
in the
here.
collection. So all yeah, it's all in the Sharp Mind collection. And ultimately, if you go to Solaray, you'll see we have Sharp Mind Energy, Sharp Mind
Oh,
Sleep,
right.
Sharp Mind Mood, Sharp Mind Focus, Sharp Mind Memory. We have this collection of them. And originally, when we started to formulate these, the idea was the vagus nerve. And if you're familiar with the vagus nerve, it's the nerve that really connects from the back of your head down to your spine, and that nerve is really important to keep in alignment. And when we don't have it in alignment, which is most of us,
Right.
then something sparks off of it and creates sort of a domino effect of issues, right? So if it's, let's say, out of balance, your sleep can be out of balance, your mood can be out of balance, your focus, your memory, and all in all. And it's interesting because when I'm working in a store or helping out and a customer comes in and says to me, for example, Nikita, I'm really struggling with my energy levels. Well, I could recommend them the SharpMind Energy that you just showed, but I
Sure.
like to go, okay, well, let's think this back a little deeper. Why do you think your energy levels are
Mm,
struggling?
right.
Maybe it's as simple as, well, I don't know, I don't sleep properly throughout the night. Okay, so you don't sleep properly. So then maybe I recommend the sleep formula. Or I go, well, why are you not sleeping properly? Well, I'm up late at night and I'm finding myself stressed. I have a kid and I have this and da da da. So maybe it's the stress formula, right? Like I really like to
Mm-hmm.
get to the root cause of why somebody's having a concern. And then we find the right supplement or stack supplements even that can ultimately support them. And so memory is a big thing that people are struggling with. I have been struggling with it since I was a kid. In fact, I remember going to therapy at like 14 and saying like I struggle with memory and she's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, well, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go home and play this card game." And I was like, "But what if I don't remember to play the card game? Then what do I do?" And since I just never forgot that thought I had that then. I seem to remember science and that's like the
Right.
extent of my scope because that's what I love so much. But
Yeah.
memory is hard, and maybe your memory is lacking because maybe you're not sleeping properly. Maybe you are stressed. When you're stressed, your body's in fight or flight. Okay. When your body's in fight or flight, you are focused on the very few things that are in front of you, barely. You're able to retain anything. You're just like, take in what I need to survive right now, and we'll come back to that rest later. And so you could take this product of memory and even take it with the sharp mind stress, because maybe that's what's causing it. Again, there's
Right.
multiple things. But let's look at this, okay? When you look at the whole collection of sharp mind, no matter which formula you're looking at, there are three things, that's four. There are three things that you're going to find in every single one of them.
Okay.
The first thing is a clinically studied raw material, meaning that we put something in there that has legitimate double-blind, placebo-controlled clinical studies that has significant outcomes to support, in this case, let's say memory. So the first thing I mentioned, that clinically studied raw material, that is Cognivia. And Cognivia is the name, it's the trademarked name, but ultimately what it contains is organic garden sage leaf extract along with organic Spanish sage essential oil.
Right.
Okay, that's the pairing together that have been used in clinical studies. 600 milligrams is the amount that was used. And ultimately, what Cognivia does, okay, is it works on improving working memory, or as we like to call, okay? So not just like working memory, okay, but that ultimately is the association of short-term memory, attention, and data manipulation. So
Well.
I said it improves working memory, and your working memory is considered short-term memory, attention, and overall like data manipulation, like being able to consume data. Okay, that's what the definition I would say of working memory would be. Okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of us, again, could be struggling with memory. I think a lot of it is related to stress for us, as well as just information overload. I mean, how much are we supposed to retain on a daily basis? I mean, you look at your phone for 5 minutes and you scroll through Instagram, and my brain already feels like it's completely full.
Right.
Whether it's of good or bad information, it's like so full that when I want to do other things, I feel almost overwhelmed
Yeah.
because I've already taken in so much. So, first thing, working memory, clinical studied. Okay, and a raw material that's also won multiple awards is Cognivia, 600 milligrams. The second thing that's in all of them is, and they're all different, but it's a adaptogenic herb, right? And what's an adaptogenic herb? Exactly what it sounds like. It helps the body adapt.
Right.
If you're in a stressful state or any type of state in general, high energy or low, it's helping the body balance, helping body meet equilibrium. And each adaptogen, one would be like ashwagandha, you might be familiar with, or rhodiola, or bacopa. There's many different ones. In this one, we used gotu-kola. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
I know I said I do a lot of fun things or say fun things, and I'm not sure I've said too many just yet due to time. But the way that I always remembered go to cola was this, is if you were to drink cola, like Coca-Cola,
Yeah.
I would have like crazy amounts of just like energy and I'd be kind of probably bouncing off the walls, right? It would make me go a little crazy, especially with the American version that has high fructose corn syrup.
Uh-huh.
Granted, I'm sure the Canadians and the Europeans, we don't use high fructose corn syrup, but in America they do.
Right.
The cola makes me go crazy. So I would go to this product, meaning go to cola, in order to help relax my body, in order to help keep my body calm. So go to cola is a great adaptogen that helps kind of calm the body and also helps direct your energy and focus into what
Right.
you need. Okay. So you've got that. And then the third ingredient that we have in all of them are organically grown, fermented mushrooms. And there's a different mushroom for everything. Okay. For the energy one, I'll give you guys another fun one. The energy sharp mind has a mushroom called cordyceps. And the way that you remember what a cordyceps does for energy is if I want my laptop to work, what do I have to do? I have to plug the cord in. So the
Right.
cord in cordyceps is what's creating the energy.
Oh,
So in
nice.
the energy formula is the cordyceps mushroom. In the memory formula is the chaga mushroom. Okay. And the way that I always remember chaga was this. I think of the word chug when I think chaga.
Hmm.
If I go to the juice bar, which is like the only bar that I go to, so with the mushrooms, as I was saying, you have a cordyceps mushroom. And the cordyceps we know now is the energy mushroom.
Right.
So how do we remember chaga and why is chaga used in the memory formula? When I think of chaga, I think of the word chug. And the reason I think of chug is when I go to the juice bar, which again is the only bar I go to, I typically get a wheatgrass shot or
Hmm.
a ginger shot. And what happens when you get those shots? You literally chug them down
Right.
because the flavor is usually so potent. And it's so potent because it's full of antioxidants, which our body needs.
Yeah.
So I think chaga as chug, because I'm chugging quickly because it's so potent, as my antioxidant mushroom. Granted,
Got it.
all good mushrooms do have things like antioxidants and,
Right.
let's say, beta glucans and things like that. But what's really important with the chaga is it's fully packed with antioxidants that can ultimately support brain health and that are going to support your working memory as well. Okay. So again, summing this up, Solaray SharpMind memory supports working memory and can support long term as well. What's cool about this formula, and I don't get to say this often, is taking one single dose can give you an immediate benefit. Taking
Mm.
prolonged doses is certainly going to support your brain even greater. But often I have to tell people, well, take it for like 3 weeks or a month, and we hope to see that you'll get some results. That's typically how supplements would work. You can take this one in one dose and get an immediate benefit. Take it for multiple days and a prolonged amount of time, and you're going to get even better cognitive function and prolonged memory support. So
Incredible.
you can see that right there, fast acting in just two convenient capsules. I mean, that's
Just two a
right there
day.
from clinical studies. It's amazing to see that.
Right. And even the Moro red orange extract was one capsule a day, which is nice. I don't like when people have to
Mhm.
take like 20 different capsules a day. It's not practical. Plus, some people are already on medications, and then now they have to take those capsules on top of these, right? So it's
Pill
good that it's
fatigue.
only a couple a day. Um,
Yeah.
and just like that, that wraps it up. I know Nikita's used to doing like hour plus long lectures, so it's tough for us to condense it into 25. You did an amazing job. Where can people find out more? This was an amazing intro, at least into the versatility of
Yeah.
Solaray and Cal, how we have microbiome products. Then we have products for specifically, you have the SharpMind line, which has
Hmm.
several different options in there from the memory to the energy product to all the different types of magnesium. Then there's metabolism supplements with the red orange. And they're always reinventing and adding new products to their line. I've had the
Yeah.
pleasure of touring their facility there in Park City, Utah, a couple years back, which was a mind blowing experience. So I got to meet the staff there that does all the quality control measures and see the different machines. And this company is extremely legitimate, folks. So you can't go wrong looking into a Solaray or Cal product, Nikita. So thanks
Yeah.
for your time. And by the way, Nikita set that trip up for us. So I appreciate you on that one as well. That was the
Of
first time in my
course.
life I went skiing, by the way, on that
No
trip.
way.
First time ever. And I haven't been
And you're
since.
from Canada.
I know, right? It was all basketball for me, Nikita. That's all my whole life.
Oh, is that what it was? I was like,
That's it.
what? Are you kidding me? And here we are in Arizona now,
Yep.
But yeah,
So
I mean, if you guys had more questions, you could always just go right to our website. Like, go to
that was what I was
Solaray's
gonna.
website
Perfect.
if you want to see things like that. Otherwise, there's no better health food store in the valley, honestly, than Healthy Habit. Like, come in to Healthy Habit. You can talk to any of the staff members, super helpful. And you have Dr. Dayon and Dr. Aaron
There we
there
go.
if you have questions or you need any support. So
So for
we're
now,
here.
solaray.com or cal.com is a good starting point.
Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely. Cal.com, Solaray.com. I would go right directly to the websites if you need support. Otherwise, like I said, come in the store and we'll help you out.
And that's Cal with a K, K-A-L or
Cal with
Solaray.
a K since
Perfect.
1932
Yep. Almost
through
100
that.
years. Wow.
Yeah, one of the oldest
Incredible.
brands in the industry, if not one of the
That's
first right
amazing.
there. So, yeah.
Well, we got to get you on again here soon and continue this series. Okay, Nikita. Thank you for your time.
Yes. Thanks, Dr.
Appreciate it.
Dan.